Welcome to Papa Mutes, everybody. Today, my guest is Jayson Johnson. Jayson is a filmmaker, director, producer, screenwriter, and founder of Strike 5 Films. He's coming to us from the Bay Area. I'm thrilled to have him on. Jayson, welcome to Papa Mutes.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So I hate to ask the typical questions, but unfortunately, I'm going to start off with what got you involved with the fascination of film? And by that, I mean, like, my father had a home movie camera, and I was like, wow, this is cool. When I was little, as soon as I got into high school and could afford a movie camera, I bought a Super 8 movie camera. So not what you're doing now, but, initially, what grabbed you and said, yeah, I want to grab some images, some film, tell us about that.
Uh, well, I think it started when I was a kid. I always watched movies and soap operas with my mom. So there was just like that inherent love there. But what really grabbed me was when I was in college, I was getting a master's degree in communication studies. And we were up late one night studying. And I was just like, I got to get up and take a break. And I went in the hallway and I saw a casting call for this movie called Empire of Danger. And I said, that looks pretty interesting. So I applied for it. I auditioned in the library, and I was cast as Siberian Guard number 2. And
Sweet.
That whole experience just hooked me from there.
um, Now I'm going to fast forward. You started to work at a winery, but you did not know it was Francis Ford Coppola's winery, correct?
That's right.
Eventually, you met him, and what was your impression of him after you met him? In other words, you meet him. You have people have this public perception of people sometimes. What was your impression of him after you met him?
When I first met him, I was kind of starstruck, so I didn't really say much to him probably for the first 4 or 5 days that I worked with him. I just kind of kept my head down. But as I got a chance to know him and talk to him more, I just really found that it's really true what they say. He's somewhat of a maverick. He's really creative. He's got like all these ideas, and he'll even steal ideas. We were working on this project, and it was making a corkscrew and it was making a fork and a corkscrew hybrid, and we called it the fork screw. And I remember working with my creative director at the time to draft up a mock-up on paper, and then we made one physically. And so we gave it to him, and then he said, "Oh, this is my idea." He was showing it off to someone and passing it off as his own idea. So I thought that was pretty funny, but he was just like, the Godfather stole one of our ideas. So I just thought it was kind of cool.
Did he give you any? I don't know. I don't know if you eventually talked about film and stuff like that and the career in that direction.
He did. He gave me an opportunity to work on. We had this traveling road show where we toured 15 or 16 states, and we all kind of piled in like this van and drove across America, going state to state. And he gave me an opportunity to be a prop master on that project. And so that was the first time I'd ever done that and gotten paid for it. I'd kind of done it like, making like my own little short films, but that was kind of like my first foray into like filmmaking and kind of that entertainment industry. So I thought that was really cool.
Did you ever meet his daughter, Sophia?
I did actually. After that road show, I worked on, she was making a film called Marie Antoinette, and they were doing the post-production sound on the property. And, it was mostly just myself as a PA to the post-production team. And then one day she popped in, and, she's really shy, quiet, and really reserved. But, I just kind of, said hi and stuff like that because, I'm a peon at this point. But,
Right.
but yeah, it was kind of cool seeing her.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking she's a good connection. I mean, I don't know if you've touched base since, but
No, what I kind
Sophia,
of
hey,
realized,
this is Jayson.
yeah,
Remember me? Yeah,
yeah, I don't
help
think
me
it
out
works
here.
that way.
Oh man. So I mentioned I told you I was going to bring this up. One of my favorite under the radar films is Sorry to Bother You.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, every time I mention
bonkers
to
film.
people the film, I mean, I tell this to people. Have you seen this movie? They're like, no, no, no. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, you got to watch this movie. Anyway, how, how did you get involved with that? I know you were maybe an extra or something in there. What's going on there?
Yeah, so I was actually the assistant to the director. So I was the one that would hold like the camera and in between takes. And if he needed anything, I would communicate that to the producers. And when it came time for me to be in the film, the assistant director kind of looked me up and down. I guess they needed some extra people to be in the film.
Okay.
So, they said, why don't you go ahead and stand there? And at the time, I had this yellow like poncho with I can't remember if I had a hat on or not, but it's the scene right when he comes out of the bar and he's talking to the football players,
Okay.
and I get some pretty good screen time, probably about 20 seconds worth of time in that movie,
I'm going to watch
just
that
standing
again
in
just
it.
because
Yeah,
it's so.
yeah,
I mean, I don't want to give it away, but it's so bizarre. The first half is like, okay, I get it, and then the second half is like, what the it's so anyway, but there was some people in there. Terry Crews, right?
yeah, yeah. Terry
Um,
Crews, Lakeith
Danny Glover.
Stanfield, yeah, Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm forgetting her name now. She's a big name actress. Um,
Where was
uh,
that shot?
that was shot in Oakland, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
just five miles from here. Yeah.
now how'd you get on board with that? Like for people that are just curious how you get on board sometimes.
Yeah, so in most cities, they have kind of like a um, local film community,
Hmm.
and I got into the film community by doing location management. So I'll find like a location where the crew can film at, etc., and then you just kind of meet people. So um, in between
Networking. Yeah.
gigs, yeah, in between gigs, I had a friend that I had previously worked with, and he said, "Help! Help! I need a PA on this film." And I know I can trust you. So, I came on, and first I started in wardrobe. And then once that kind of stabilized, then they kind of just chose me to be the assistant to the director.
I mean, that's how you wear different hats. You're just like happy to do
I'm just
whatever.
happy to be there. Yeah.
Right. Right. Great film. I mean, just oh god, too funny. So your Strike Five films. How did that come
Mhm.
about? Why Strike Five? And just all that info. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so Strike Five is kind of like a mantra that I have, and people that collaborate with me is that you may strike out a lot in life. The old
Mhm.
adage is if you strike out three times, you're out. But anyone that's really gone and tried to do like their own endeavor, you're going to strike out way more than that. So that's kind of paying homage to that. That we're going to keep striking until we hit pay dirt, and that's where Strike Five was kind of the name of was kind of birthed out of. And yeah, I started in 2011, I want to say,
Okay.
and it was mostly because at the time I was an aspiring actor. That's what I thought that I wanted to do,
Right.
and I
Hey.
would go to all of these casting calls, and they would say you, not you, Jason, and then go down the line. So I was really
Wow.
frustrated. I was frustrated because I felt like I had some talent, and I knew that I had a lot of passion for this. So I started to kind of write my own projects, and I would insert myself into those projects. Um, so that's kind of how that started.
Now, Strike Five. Is there a certain genre that you do, or is it just whatever ideas pop?
Pretty much whatever ideas pops. So far, we've done short films on a lot of dramas. We've done a sci-fi film. We've done a horror film. Uh, Presently in pre-production for a vampire project. So, I think the concentration is just trying to tell good stories with good production value.
Now, can someone come to you, and say, and they don't know you, they're not a friend or anything, and say, "Hey, I got the idea for a film. Take a look at it." It would. I mean, even if it's just a short film, or is it strictly like within house, like because making a movie
Uh,
is tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. But yeah, right now, I'm pretty open. I try to give back as much as possible. And if someone wants to collaborate on a project, then, I'm more than willing to, work with them and try to, execute that goal. I was actually hired for a suicide film. There was a PTSD survivor,
No.
and he wanted to do a film about a veteran coming home, and he was struggling with a breakup, and he was calling into a call center to kind of try to get relief, but there's a lot of twists and turns in the story. But yeah,
Mhm.
that was someone that I didn't know, but we collaborated and we made a pretty good project.
Now, where can people see these films? I mean, ones you have made already. Is it
So
strictly
they can
online
either
or?
Yeah, so I have the majority of them online. There's one
Hmm.
project that I don't have online because of music licensing rights, but mostly you can find me on YouTube. I'm on Vimeo under Strike Five Films. I also have my films embedded on my website at it's kind of like a long elongated URL, but you can just simply search for Strike Five Films or Jayson Johnson filmmaker, and that'll be the first thing that pops up.
Cool, cool. I mean, just for people trying to get into the business, young people, whatever, you don't have to be young, but you know what I mean. Yeah, making a movie, whether it's 10 minutes or a 2 hour Hollywood, it takes a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just camera, lights, action. It takes so much stuff, insurance, just everything is involved. How do you or get people to do it for you? And like it's your vision, I mean, I know they're working for you. Obviously, they want paid, but how do you, get these people psyched for your stuff?
Well, I think you have to have. Well, let me go back.
Okay.
Actually, when I first started, I would just grab anyone. Like the cameraman for my first project was a janitor. And he just happened to like films, so
Yeah. Okay.
I said, "Hey, I'm going to be making this crazy film. You think that you might be interested in being the cameraman?" And all you have to do is just pan left, pan right,
Okay.
and he accepted it, and he was fantastic. He'd never done it before, so it really comes down to just asking people. A lot of times, if you're just starting out, you don't necessarily need the money, the insurance, and all that stuff. Where that does help because you're technically kind of coloring outside the lines. But if you're just kind of making a student project or a novice project, then yeah, just start with your network, see who's interested in your goals and your dreams, and you'll be surprised that there's a lot of people that have interest in filmmaking. But nowadays, I just I have a certain crew that I work with, and other people that we can't that we don't have access to or need to hire. We just make sure that we interview them well to make sure that our goals, our passions, et cetera, align, because that's really important when you're on the film set.
Everyone on the same page, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Do you feel you're? I mean, fast forward now. You're going to make a movie. Do you feel you're constantly? I mean, this is a big part of it, from what I hear, trying to raise money.
That's like 99% of it. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. It's like, you're always looking for the money, and you're always trying to market yourself in pursuit of the money. Unless you were just born rich for whatever reason, or
That would
just
be
have
nice.
someone that has a ton of money.
Now, what
But
is the
yeah, that's
process? What are some of the ideas to raise the money?
So I've gone to pitch sessions where I'll have an idea and then I'll pitch it in front of a group of investors. I've done
Really?
crowdfunding.
Wow.
Yeah, I've hit up family members. I've paid for a lot of films out of my own pocket. Um, when the pandemic came around, um, I said, I wonder if I can get money for a film, and I filled out for a PPP loan, and to my surprise, they gave it to me for $15,000. So
Oh,
I
nice.
used some of that to make a film. So you just really have to be creative in the ways to find money for your project, and it's really a day in a day out thing. You just can't give up.
You need to be just to hark back. You need to be a power caller.
Yeah.
Sorry to bother you, but
Yeah.
oh my God, I might watch that movie tonight. Have you ever? I know you're in the Bay Area. Have you ever ventured to Hollywood and said, I'm going to plant my roots down here and give it a shot, whether it's acting or what have you? Because a lot of people, do that.
Yeah, I have. I've talked to a lot of people, and they say, Jason, you have to move down to Hollywood to make it happen. And you know, I I wouldn't say that they're wrong. I went to a industry game night that was at the house of the creator of Desperate Housewives.
Cool.
And when I got there, I met a bunch of people that were in the industry, but I kind of felt like it was everyone was trying to one up each other.
Mm.
When I would tell them that I had just done a project, the next guy would say that he worked on Pirates of the Caribbean, and then there's another guy that would say, "Well, I worked on the Terminator," and then the next guy said that I worked on Avatar, and it's just like this is just this is kind of a bit of a pissing match, and it's not anything that I'm really interested in. So
Yeah,
I
not a
like
collaboration. Yeah.
yeah, I like the Bay Area because I feel like it's more collaborative. People are a little bit more humble down here or up here rather, and I just think that it's a great film community.
So if just a hypothetical, if Hollywood came calling, hey Jason, we like your work, but or we like send us your best work. What film would you send them of your work?
I'd probably send them my most recent film. I think that one has the best production value. It's the one that we spent $22,000 on. It
Hmm.
had Adrian Marcel in it, who was nominated for a Grammy probably about 7 years ago. So I think that would probably be the best representation of what I can do. Um, but also I would consider saying one of my earlier films, Redress, because that did fairly well in the film festival circuit as well.
Now you've won a lot. I mean, a ton of film festival awards. I mean, you've entered a lot, but I mean, how many? Like
Yeah.
100?
So far, we've gotten into 80 film festivals. We've won 6 times. Um, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to building on that success.
Now, my nephew was telling me that to get into a film festival, like, I mean, not all of them, maybe they are all of them, but you actually pay them to watch your film
Hmm.
and you hope they watch it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of rough. I
Yeah.
mean, wow.
It's not easy because it's I want to say 2 to 3% of the films get selected. So right there, that is like the odds are incredibly against you. And
Hmm.
then on top of that, you pay them to watch your film, and then if your film doesn't get accepted for whatever reason, they give you no excuse why. So you don't really have any basis as far as, well, I need to work on this, or that was off. It's just a simple nope, you didn't get in. So
Hmm.
to get into 80 film festivals, over 9 films, I think that's quite an accomplishment. And
Sure.
so far, we're kind of like at 13% acceptance rate. So that's
Do you
I
have
think that's
any?
pretty good.
Cool, cool. Do you have any filmmakers slash directors that you admire that would be recognizable names?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of them. I will start
Besides
with
Francis.
Francis. Yeah, well, Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Clint Eastwood. Let's see, I love Christopher Nolan's work. I think Boots Riley is. I think he's a great up and coming filmmaker. I love Catherine Bigelow. Um,
Hmm.
I can just go on and on. Spike Lee is an inspiration. Um, even Sylvester Stallone, because a lot of the films that he's done
Dude's got good
are
nerve. Yeah.
yeah, they are box office successes. So you really, I know that there's going to be film snobs. There's like Sylvester Stallone, come on, but the
That guy.
object is to make a film that is going to make money, and
Hmm.
that's
And
something
that's
that
what
I
he
really
does.
admire. Yeah,
That's what he does.
yeah, he's a
Um,
money machine.
yeah, a great documentary on him. If you have Netflix, Sly. Have you seen that? It's called
I haven't seen
Sly.
that.
I mean, that
Yeah,
guy,
I'll have to check that out.
huge fan. I mean, just excuse the language, balls. Just had balls when he was
Yeah.
younger, and kept having them. Anyway, is there any line of work that you would outside of film and cameras and stuff that you would I don't know want to try besides being a professional athlete or something, or it's something
Uh,
within striking distance.
yeah. So right now, because every filmmaker has their day job, and my day job is
Power caller.
uh, yeah, it's that, and then I also do a lot of grant writing. So that gives me uh, valuable insight as far as what people are looking for, what people will fund, etc. So
Hmm. Sure.
um, I've raised about $2 million in the past year and a half for an organization, and I'm hoping to get a lot more for that. So
Wow.
it really increases my ability to raise funds, and then I can turn and do that for myself.
Now, is there any? Maybe we touched on this and I didn't hear, but any family members involved when you were younger that was involved with film or entertainment or anything?
No. What's interesting is everyone else in my family has, they're not really creative at all. So I'm for whatever reason, I'm the only person that got that
Someone's
gene
got to
of
do it.
creativity. Yeah. So it's really because my brother is a principal. My father is a truck driver, and my mother was, she worked at AT&T. So those are all pretty straightforward jobs. So it was really interesting that when I was coming up, I always drew and was into things that had like artistic expression, and that was something that I was just really always drawn to. So
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. So, any advice for? I mean, we kind of gave some advice, but just up and come. Besides talent, obviously you got to have talent. I mean, you could be taught it, but someone wants to do films, they have talent. But what advice? What do you need besides talent to really make a film that can get into a festival, etc.?
Um, I think you need to have a good idea. I think when you're doing like well, let's just say short film, you want to do an idea that is a simple idea. It's like a high concept idea that I could like explain it to you in a sentence or two, and then you would understand it. Anything beyond that, you really want to try to rework it so that you kind of pare down the elements where it's not so complicated. Then outside of that, I think you just want to have just good production value. So hire the best talent that you can. Don't get your roommate that doesn't know how to act and expect him to, have this like award-winning performance. Really take the time to invest in someone that understands the art of acting, and then will take good direction from you. And then this is important, but you want to film it on a decent camera. And a lot of days you can use your iPhone because they have great
Unbelievable,
resolution.
right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But what's probably most important, aside from the production value, the actors, etc., is you want to have really good sound, because people will watch a film that has a bad image, but they will not watch a film that has bad sound.
True. True. I mean, yeah, that's great advice. I had a question that just went through my brain and then now it's gone. Oh well, it happens. um,
I'll come back to
yeah.
you.
No, what the heck? Oh God. Anyway. Oh, and you have to be able to raise money. I mean, you know, that,
That's
that that seems to be a part of it.
unfortunately,
Unless someone in the family has deep pockets, or you have to be able to go get the money in a professional way.
yeah. And in some cases, I guess you don't need a lot of money. I remember my first three films. The first film, I spent money on it, but I didn't have like a dedicated budget. So it was like buy a pizza here for the actors.
Hmm.
A lot of the props we made out of cardboard and things of that nature. So um, you can if you have a simple enough idea, you can do it on the cheap. I remember one short film we made for $50 in total, and that was
Oh,
mostly the cost of what a pizza. cost. But yeah, you really just want to try to write a story within your means, because that's really going to dictate, how much money you're going to spend.
And hopefully something unique. I mean, that people will remember. Like, and I hate to keep bringing it up. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to ruin the film, but anyway. So let's step out of bounds a little bit. I have a segment called This or That. This is just a preference thing. I'll give you a couple choices. You tell me your preference. Okay. This is just to
And I'll
get to
just
know
say
you.
this or that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's yeah. Like for instance, here we go. This or that. Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Wow. A lot of people pick
Easy.
pizza. Film or digital? And I'm talking about shooting.
Yeah. I'd shoot on film any day.
You have. I'm assuming you've shot on film and digital.
I've shot on both. I love film. It just, I don't want to sound like all the purists, but it really creates a superior image. It has a texture that you really can't emulate with digital.
So that,
So
but
film,
that bumps up the cost, right? I'm assuming.
that definitely bumps up the cost. But if you are if you know what you're looking for, and you know kind of the feel and what you want, then film is always going to give you more options, because you can expose the film a different way. You can process it a different way, and it'll make the film look a certain type. So I just think that film is just superior to digital. But I know it's kind of going away. So
Yeah, it's a shame.
I'm not to the point where I can shoot on IMAX like Chris Nolan yet, but
Well,
we're
you're
gonna
getting
get
there.
there.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
Hit that Powerball.
Yeah.
Again, this is referring to films in general, fiction or nonfiction.
I'm gonna say nonfiction.
Okay. Steak or lobster?
Definitely steak.
Gotta go with the meat.
Yeah.
Calling or texting? Preference.
I'm on the fence, but I'll say texting.
I guess it depends who you're calling, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want that conversation; you just want the answer.
This is a threefold: breakfast, lunch, or dinner. If you only could have one.
I'm a big breakfast guy, so I'm gonna go with breakfast.
Yeah, cool. I like breakfast. Last one: sports car or Ford F-150 pickup.
I'm gonna go with a pickup.
Really?
I wish you would have said Cybertruck, but I'll take the F-150.
Now, Cybertruck meaning
The Tesla Cybertruck.
Oh. Ka-ching.
Yep. Yeah, that's
cool.
pretty badass to me. So
Yeah, I'm sure. You have a favorite sport?
I'm a football guy.
Okay. 49ers?
I like the 49ers, but I'm not originally from California. I'm originally from Chicago, so
Ooh.
I'm a
The Bears.
I'm a Bears fan. It's just kind of like an unwritten rule for Chicagoans.
It's funny. I'm in Philly, but I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and we just got what's his face, the quarterback.
Saquon.
No, that's Philly. Philly got Saquon.
Oh, okay.
But Pittsburgh, the Steelers got your quarterback, Fields.
Oh yeah. You got Justin Fields.
What's up with
How do
that?
you feel
I think
about
he's
that?
pretty good. I love it. I love him better than Pickett. I mean, what's going on? I thought he was improving every year. Why would you get rid of him? I know they want the new guy from USC, but I'm just saying that's a chance.
I I'm gonna say a hot take, and people are probably gonna watch this and say I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Caleb Williams is gonna pan out like everyone thinks he is.
Really?
I think it's gonna be. Yeah, I think there's so much hype behind this guy.
I mean, he looks great in college.
Yeah, he looks great, but so did Jamarcus Russell and Vince Young and
Pickett.
Yeah. So. But what I will say about Justin Fields is I think he is an incredible athlete. But I'm not sure of him as a quarterback.
He had trouble closing games, supposedly. Like he could get it done, but when it came down to it.
One game, I remember watching him, and he led the winning drive, and I said, "Oh my God, this guy is incredible." we have our quarterback. It's over. We're going to be going back to the Super Bowls, the glory days of the Bears, and then all of those grandiose thoughts went away the next week, where he's getting sacked and he's running and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I just wonder, like, if he's not able to run like he's able to do, would he still be as effective?
Mm,
And
okay.
I think that's why the Bears got rid of him.
So if he's not a pocket quarterback, it could be if he can't run, he's a pocket quarterback, and that's a problem. Is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
because most quarterbacks, they have like a limited shelf life as far as being a running quarterback. I can think back to probably one of the best running quarterbacks was Michael Vick,
Michael Vick, yeah,
and
sure.
yeah, he was. I think he was somewhat of an anomaly because he was able to have that same effectiveness throughout his career.
The joystick or
But
whatever. I forget what his nickname was, but
yeah,
yeah, it was.
just amazing.
It was.
Uh, but eventually, we all get, as time goes on, quarterbacks get, they're not as fast as they once used to, and
Mm-hmm.
they're getting tired of getting hit. So they kind of converge into a pocket quarterback. So yeah, I don't know. I think Philly. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is. I don't know what's going to happen with you
I
guys
mean, I
because
mean, they
Russ.
have what's his face to start. Russell Wilson. They got Russell Wilson and Fields.
Yeah, I don't
Russell
know, Lee,
Wilson's
but
aging.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm excited just because it's something different. Pickett was I've seen enough, but what do I know?
yeah,
And he's on the
yeah,
Eagles. That's the other thing. It's like the Eagles. Pickett.
yeah.
It's going to be a wild
Real
one.
interesting.
Uh,
Yeah.
you have a favorite destination?
Uh, of late, it's Mexico. I tend to go to Mexico a lot. I think that it's like, I don't know, it's just something about it. Go down there and you have tacos and you have some beer and be by the ocean. How can you beat that? So,
Know which
um,
part? Just is there a certain section?
um, I really like Acapulco. I've been to Cancun. I
Okay.
like the Baja area, kind of by La Paz. So
Hmm.
uh, you get me in Mexico by the water, and I'm going to be happy. But
What that's
I've
your
also gone to Colombia and Cuba and all those other places too. So
yeah.
pretty much anywhere that's South America by the ocean,
That's your
I'm
next
there.
film location
Yeah, I might actually move there. I don't know.
when
So
those
I
big
guess we'll
bucks
see.
come in. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Uh, last one, favorite movie. I mean, I know there's a ton, but just if you had to narrow one down.
My favorite movie, and this is probably going to, uh, surprise a lot of people, but it's a movie called Real Genius. It was a movie that was made in, I want to say maybe '82. It stars Val Kilmer, um, and it's about a bunch of uh, kids that are like at a MIT college, and they're building a laser, and unbeknownst to them, the CIA or government agent wants to use that laser as like this space wars type of weapon.
Really?
So yeah,
Okay.
so
What's it called?
I
Real Genius?
real genius.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that is what really got me to want to be a filmmaker because I've watched that movie at least 100 times.
Well, I'll have to put that
Um,
on the list.
yeah, that's like
Yeah.
my sorry to bother you for you.
The secret hidden movie. All right.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What's going on in 2024 as far as film? What's your plans, or what do you like to happen?
Well, coincidentally, I'm looking for money, and
Catching.
I've written three feature-length projects that I would like to try to make a stab at making this year or either next year at varying prices. So I'm doing a lot of media to try to put my name out there to entice investors and to also doing the pitch network as far as going out to different venues, pitching projects, meeting investors, etc. So that's pretty much what I'm doing this year.
Do you find it harder to write a screenplay or to make the movie?
I think writing the screenplay is more difficult
Ugh.
because once you get into making the movie, you've spent a significant amount of time planning it out, getting the right talent, getting the right crew, And at that point, it shouldn't be all, puppy dogs and roses, but at the same time, you have a great idea as far as what you want to do, and you have the cast and crew that's going to help you execute that idea. So I think for me, writing the screenplay that could be good is probably the most difficult thing.
Okay. Well, look, Jason, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming on, taking your time, and I'll be in touch. But again, I thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me. I really appreciated the time here and had a great time.